All right. The day after Halloween, episode 82. A lot of things to talk about this week. This week has been mega jam-packed. I guess Mega Mag 7 is how I should say it. Mega Mag 7 earnings week. Basically, every single FANG reported this week. So we'll talk a little about that. PayPal's kind of like this thing. It's been around forever. Nobody really talks about. But we have some news about PayPal this week. And there you go. I think it's going to fill up all our time right there.
How did your stocks do with mega earnings week plus Trump wish-washy week
Oh my gosh.
and Powell's hawkish stance?
So FOMC announced 25 basis points as expected. Not much out of that, but you could tell he was trying to defend that set expectations. They might not drop it
They
another.
will not.
Yeah, just because people are still betting. But yeah, that likely that this would be the last rate cut for the year, just because they still are hesitant because inflation is not cooling off as quick as expected. He did call out tariffs again, but you could tell he's trying to appease Trump around that statement. But yeah, so that was fine down
That was
the
Wednesday.
market. Wednesday. So
No. It tanked to
Oh, yeah.
and then as you start to continue talking, it tanked even more.
Yeah. After FOMC, right, Powell basically tanked the market. And then there was some hope because Trump was also meeting that night in Korea. And so it's like, oh, he's going to talk. It's going to be great. He calls, buys Chinese stocks. And then overnight, turned out he didn't enough, or he basically lost his taco. So that meeting didn't come out as well as everybody expected. And so that tanked the market further on Thursday. And then, yeah, yesterday was a weird end of month trading day. So all over the place. And then the Mag 7 earnings did not help. I'll say 3 for 2 is basically the statistics. And we'll talk about the winners and the losers. AAA winners. I was thinking about it. It's like, oh, how ironic. AAA winners and the double M losers.
Okay, well, we'll get into that. I don't want to know what you mean. I see what you mean there. Just recapping the SPY comment around weird month. Yeah, I mean, but the SPY is up on a monthly basis for the last 6 months. So for the last 6 months, SPY has went from 555 all the way up to 690 at the top.
Yeah.
Pretty huge increase. Just looking at this chart, I mean, it really needs a pullback. And so I'm thinking November is going to be that month finally. But yeah, to close the week, it closed in what's called like a doji candle, kind of indecision of the week of what to do, leaning towards bearish. And I think we're going to get it. So I've been dollar cost averaging in the SPY puts, which have, for the most part, not been doing well over the last few weeks. But I'm excited for it to start doing well.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely been hard to try and be a bear because this market just keeps melting up and up and up.
Well, let's talk about the earnings then. Your what? AAA win?
AAA winners and double M losers.
Makes sense.
Okay. Anyway, so I guess I'll start off with the AAA winners, mainly because one of them is one of my major holdings. Not so major anymore. But yeah, Google announced their earnings. Let's just say they basically blew it out of the park on this one. So let's see, how did Google perform? Man, this was like some huge numbers they put up this time. So it's like first time total revenue is over 100 billion. It's a 16% up year over year. Let's see, earnings was $2.87, and that was up 35%. They talked a lot about Google Cloud. It was also up 34%. Search
crazy.
And their other businesses was up 14 to 15% to 56 billion. I left that. Well, I should say Cloud's a $15 billion business. Search 56 billion, which is just crazy. And then they don't really break out YouTube ads and subscriptions. But yeah, I think the headline number was their first $100 billion quarter. And so, yeah, Google hitting all-time highs. It fell off a bit, which was kind of strange. I was hoping it hit 300, but no, it's about 285. I think all the employees were selling into strength. But yeah, Google, crazy quarter. I think the one thing where Sundar was really touching on was he was trying to position Google as a full stack AI company, meaning from infrastructure to product, they have everything that no other company has at this point. So that's what I think he was of.
And that totally makes sense. I mean, obviously Apple's biggest weakness is its AI,
Mm-hmm.
but Google has that.
Yeah.
And so if we think about the mobile market, wearables market, mobile computing, I mean, Google's really the only, I guess, mainstream widespread player other than Apple.
Yeah.
And so if Google can kind of take advantage of that and fix their design,
Yeah.
they could be an Apple killer in my mind.
Yeah. And so it's like, if you think like, I think they were also trying to set themselves apart from like Microsoft and Meta, right? In that Google also has all the inference data needed to support AI with the search business, etc. Right? Cloud, it's like Azure, and then yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, so that's Google.
Now, but kind of tying off my comment, do I think Google can do that and be an Apple killer? No.
Yeah, I don't
I
think so
mean,
either.
so I use, ads, Google ads, right, for my startup, and I get so frustrated using this tool. And I'm just like, this is your number one moneymaker,
Mhm.
and it's just horrendous to use. It's like,
Yeah.
and it is that thing where it's like, you can tell, what is it? What is it called again? They're the saying, it's like, the product is designed by the 20 teams that worked on it versus designed by one cohesive designer.
Yeah, Google Ads has just been tacked on, you know, over
It's
the
so
years.
frustrating.
Yeah, it's a very challenging to get up to speed.
Yeah. But, we're bullish on Google. I think even though they haven't had a great story in the last year and a half
Yeah.
trying to keep up with OpenAI, they are still making a lot of money.
Well, we'll talk about that after we go through earnings, because I
Mhm.
used ChatGPT to tell me where I should
Okay.
put my money.
Let me cover the next A
Okay.
in my backyard here. Amazon. Before they talked about their earnings, though, they did announce layoffs.
Insane. That was
About,
crazy.
yeah, it was, what was it?
30,000. It's like 30,
30,000.
40,000.
Yeah, it's about 10% of the company, which is crazy because Amazon is, 300,000, 400,000 person
Yeah.
company. So when you
And
say 10%, that's like
these were
standard,
corporate jobs too. It wasn't like the warehouse workers. This
right?
was like their corporate developers, like
Right.
corporate workers.
So when you say 10%, it's actually pretty standard when you think about company layoffs, but because Amazon's so huge, it's a lot of people. But they announced layoffs at the beginning of the week, and they had their earnings, and they also did really well. So Q3 revenue came in at 180 billion, 13% year over year. Earnings per share beat expectations. Their cloud business, which is Amazon Web Services, grew 20% year over year. It's fastest growth since 2022. And this is coming off the bad news last week when Amazon shut down like one third of the internet because
Yeah.
of its data center code deployment.
Yeah.
So,
Bad
I
news
mean,
is
I
good
think,
news.
yeah, that was bad, but good news because that also reminded everyone that the internet relies on Amazon heavily. And then their advertising and other higher margin segments, for example, ad revenue, which Amazon's not traditionally known for, has grown approximately 24%. All that said and done, I think the next day it was up like 13 to 16%,
Yeah.
which was a huge bump for such a big company.
Yeah. I think it ended up about 10% just because everything kind of got sold off yesterday. But
Yeah.
generally speaking, it was 250. Let's just peg it at it was 250 for the most part,
Hmm.
from about 220-ish, I think is where it ended. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it was a good day for Amazon shareholders. Finally,
But
they
a bad
broke out
day,
of, yeah.
but a bad day for those who got laid off. It's ridiculous how you have these record quarters,
And
and then you still have to get rid of
yeah.
so many people.
Oh, I was gonna say, even like when you say like 10% of their workforce, I mean, typically they include their Amazon workers, but if you think about it, just their corporate workers, I think it was a way larger percentage.
Was this only corporate workers?
From what I've seen, it was only corporate workers. It wasn't like, your warehouse workers, which they're still hiring for because of holiday season.
Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, no, for some reason my TikTok feed was blowing up with um, influencers who are laid off from Amazon, and some are crying, and a lot of them are young,
Yeah.
young too.
The typical
Um,
influencer thing is like, oh, it's so sad. This was my dream job.
yeah.
Just like, you're
Like, how am
young.
I going to pay the bills? And it's like, yeah, it's like layoffs suck. Welcome to the real world.
Yeah.
You've got plenty of time. Like, I feel bad for the ones who are like older, right? Versus if you're young, you've still got time. So don't worry. You're bound to get laid off at least once or twice in your lifetime. In your career, I guess, if you choose the corporate life.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
All right.
Amazon sucks, layoffs, but somehow they record quarter.
All right. Tell us about the last day.
All right, the last Apple. People were scared, but now Apple pulled through yet again. Insane. Revenue ended at 102 billion, up 8% year. It's crazy because Apple, even though is a hardware company, and so they just keep pushing out hardware. I guess this shows you how much their products. Anyways, so 100 billion ish in revenue. EPS was $1.85. That was up 13%. Services revenue, which a lot of people focus on now because Apple needs to transition to services in order to grow, according to all analysts. But that was up 15% year over year, almost 29 billion. iPhone,
That's services.
yeah, iPhone, 49 billion, 6% growth. Tim Cook came on and said, "Don't worry about China. Those was mainly supply constraints or of some sort," which was like, really? Was that all? But anyways, so Apple,
Apparently, this upgrade cycle was a much, much stronger upgrade cycle than people expected for
yeah,
the iPhone 17.
so Apple was up also, all-time highs. Don't ever discount Apple, I guess.
All right, let's go into the M's then. Meta and Microsoft. Meta didn't do good. I mean, their earnings were pretty good, decent, but they missed on some things. Their revenue for Q3 was 51.24 billion, 26% year over year. Think about this in contrast to like Apple, Amazon, and Google. They're making 100 billion a quarter in revenue, whereas Meta is making half of that, which is a bit surprising to me, but maybe not because the other three companies have much more diverse products and services, whereas Meta is pretty pigeonholed into kind of one or two.
I mean, it's missing the business component of it,
Mhm.
right?
Well, and I mean, phone. They don't have a phone.
But yeah, they don't have, well, I mean, they have hardware.
They have hardware, but they don't have a phone, which is
Yeah,
a big portion. Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, it's the business side of it and also the cloud computing side.
yeah.
Yeah. But for revenue, they beat growth in the family of apps. So Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Threads. There's some growth in there. So ad impressions are 14% year over year. And the average prices of ads that they're able to make is up 10% year over year. They have 3.54 billion active users across all their apps.
I know.
That is the one thing that Meta is the king of over
Yep,
everyone else is their active users
yep,
globally, which is crazy. I remember when they had a billion or 2 billion, and that was a lot. Now they have
yeah,
almost double that.
I know.
Zuck is committing to AI, and that's what they're going to be doing. Smart
I mean,
glasses.
their earnings were actually good, but I think what set people off is there was this one-time charge that basically offset their entire like net profit, or what it was like 50, 60 billion, some one-time charge I didn't really dig into, but I saw some people mentioning it. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, that makes sense because people should realize it was just a one-time like tax something. And then two, what you were talking about at the end was their spend in CapEx. It's just like the number, almost feel like they are spending the most out of everybody
For AI.
for AI. And I think people are starting to question, like, do you really need to spend that much? Like, what are you using it for? And then Zuckerberg was like, we want to spend as much as we can. And then if we don't use it, we'll definitely find something else to use it for. I feel like this is like the metaverse all over again, except with AI.
Well, to close the week, they went from 750 to 650. So they were down 13% to close the week. And I'm like, bye.
Yeah. And it was going down too. It was the weakest out of everybody and it kept going down. Some of them rebounded a bit, but it kept going down. So I'm like, yeah.
We were talking about it 2 weeks ago.
We did.
650.
Yeah.
You'd
I
say
know.
600?
I was like 600, but I bought a little bit.
Yeah.
Like literally,
Nibbled.
Nibbled. And then I'll just continue to DCA. I had this call option waiting and ready to be executed, but I was like, okay, I'll give it like the weekend and we'll see.
So yeah, big reaction to Meta, but I think both of us are still pretty bullish on them. And so for me, this is not investing advice. This is just what we're doing. We're not financial advisors.
Yeah.
The opportunity to get back in.
Yeah.
All right, want to close it out with Microsoft?
All right, Microsoft. So let's see. Revenue comes in at $76.5 billion, up 18% year over year, 3.65 EPS. So that also beat estimates. Their cloud business, man, 75 billion. That's a 39% year over year growth. And of course, their operating margins are about 45%. So yeah. So Microsoft in a nutshell, growth all around.
I'm surprised they don't make as much as Google and Apple.
Yeah. And their stock was actually up when they released earnings, but their CFO came on and poo-pooed over everything. You can see the candle aftermarket of where she came in and she started talking. It was literally up, big red candle, because she still needs to get used to it. But she basically was tampering expectations. Her guidance wasn't great per se. So she was a little bit neutral on guidance for the rest of the year. So that's basically put pressure on the stock.
It closed the week neutral.
Yeah. Yeah,
it went up and then it came back down, but it closed kind of neutral.
It came back. ChatGPT news probably helped a little bit there. Rumors going about that ChatGPT was aiming to go to IPO quickly at a $1 trillion valuation. And for those who don't know, Microsoft also, even though it was one of the losers, owned like 26% of the company that will be public. And they get 20% of the profit, not revenue, 20% of OpenAI's profits going forward.
Actually, yeah, I think it's a good time to buy Microsoft too. Looking at the yearly chart, it's right about where it was 4 months ago.
Yeah, so I nibbled a little bit on Microsoft and a little bit of Meta.
It's funny, I sold out of my Google the before earnings, but it wasn't that much. I mean, but I'm gonna move it into Meta and Microsoft.
Yeah, I sold a little bit of Google before earnings just in case, and then I sold more after earnings. So, yeah.
All right, Tony. So, what is your ChatGPT recap? I'm interested.
Yeah. So I was picking the cloud companies, so Google, Microsoft, Meta, and I was asked, compare these and tell me which one I should invest in, based purely on their earnings for their cloud businesses. ChatGPT ranked Microsoft his number one pick. Following that is Amazon, its second pick, and then Google was its value play as the third pick. The reasoning was basically you're paying a premium for Microsoft as the best of breed cloud computing, growth-wise, margin-wise, etc. And then Amazon came in second due to its market share, margins getting better, and then Google is kind of at the bottom of the pack. And then I took it a step further and asked them, layer in the rest of the businesses. It didn't change the ranking, so Microsoft's still out on top. Cool. Thesis is still good. Invest in Microsoft.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, that's earnings.
Oh, one more thing. Random news. Did you see it? Netflix. 10-for-1 stock split announced.
That's why I bumped up a little bit.
Yeah. They announced a 10-for-1 stock split. Finally, everybody was waiting. So again, stock splits don't add value, but I guess it's a FOMO once the price gets cheaper. So there's always a run up in price before the
Not even
stock split.
FOMO, just like mental
This
mental
mental where
condition.
it's like, yeah.
It gets cheaper, so you're willing to buy it.
Yeah. So yeah, 10-for-1 stock split. Got a small little bump. I bought one share just to get it out of my system.
Yeah, so did I. I almost bought another one when it was still in that under 1100 area.
Yeah. But yeah, so that stock split happens in 2-3 weeks. Be prepared for that. If you ever thought it being too expensive, it's still expensive, but it'll feel cheaper. So there you go.
All right. Well, that's the earnings recap and pretty good earnings season in general. And now we just have to look forward to the Santa Claus rally and whatever goes on with Trump in the next 3 months.
Yeah.
All right. Let's cut the robot story.
Okay.
Let's just talk about OpenAI and
We could always talk about it next week too. So.
PayPal.
Robot's not
robots,
good.
right?
So, yeah.
All right. So our one story today, talking about a company we've talked about in the past, actually, I think last week, where we talked about PayPal.
Yeah.
Because you had mentioned that it was at, a low. And I think the next day after you said that, it actually popped up, right? Because of this news, which is PayPal is partnering with OpenAI to let users pay for their shopping within ChatGPT. So right now, if you use ChatGPT, you can have it look for things. You can have it search, give you like links back, but you can't pay like Amazon.
No.
This is a very interesting move because this puts OpenAI into the realm of competing with Amazon to be more of an e-commerce shopping platform. So the idea is that you could search for something and then have a button within ChatGPT that just allows you to just pay.
Yeah.
Similar to what you would do with Amazon. So it's another example of OpenAI just going after everything, which is pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And also, yeah, I'm waiting for this IPO is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
It says that it'll be available starting in 2026, sometime next year. No exact date. And that you'll be able to shop for things like apparel, fashion, beauty, home improvement, and electronics. What do you think about this?
I mean, it makes sense. I saw a couple of comments making a dig at, Altman did this to also spite Elon because, Elon's ambition for X in general is to also turn it into a payments platform. And so basically,
So it's really the super app.
Yeah, the super app. And
App
so,
concept.
yeah, if you think of what OpenAI has done in all their partnerships lately, it's kind of turning into that, right? This super app. But yeah, so I mean, it makes sense. PayPal's like one of the bigger, like consumer business pay to each other companies out there. So when I talked about this, I was like, yeah, people have, it's been trading at its like all-time lows forever. People, for some reason, there was all these weird call options hitting like $80 strikes and such. And so I of course, FOMO'd into that. And then they announced that thing and PayPal touched $80.
Yeah.
But being PayPal, it's back to its semi all-time lows again. So it's trading down. It's like $70, under $70 level, which is disappointing. But for some reason, it's just like you said, it's PayPal. It's just not a good stock performer at this point. But luckily, I barely got out breaking. I was like, man, stupid.
And for those of us who don't know, last week we referenced that we know many people at PayPal because our former president at Verbo, HomeAway, John Kim, shout out to John Kim. He's their chief product officer now. And I was thinking about this because I remember when we used to be in those talks of his and he was talking about AI and all that stuff like in 2016, right?
Yeah.
And then he started talking about crypto and getting all bullish in crypto. So being at PayPal, I guess it's perfect for him, I guess, because it's blending those two things together somewhat.
Yeah.
But yeah, kudos to them. Cool partnership, but I'm interested to see what happens with it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like the buy with PayPal experience isn't the best to me.
PayPal's another one of those where they have it's been built up over like 10, 20 years.
Yeah, we got a lot of
Right. And
baggage.
it's a lot of baggage that's hanging on. And so it's gotten a little bit better. I mean, I've logged into PayPal just for, random things here and there. I mean, it's getting better, but you can still see it's still the user experience is not that great.
Yeah.
And of course, there's always horror stories about them locking people out of their accounts, not paying them, et cetera, et cetera. So there's just a lot of baggage overall. And maybe that's why, even though they're like one of the biggest consumer payment companies.
Well,
which is-
conceptually, though, I think for me, PayPal has this. I don't know. For me, when I think of PayPal, I think it always like send and receive versus just buy.
Yeah.
But I mean, yes, like there's a lot of things out there that PayPal is integrated into. Shopify is probably one of the best example
Yeah.
where you just buy it normally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually use Pay with PayPal a lot on websites where I don't want to enter my credit card information. It's like, oh
Mhm.
yeah, I'll use PayPal. But again, that makes PayPal the single place of whatever.
They do have that trust factor actually with them. And I think it comes from just like developing the reputation of the brand.
Yeah.
I remember this story once where I bought something from Facebook Marketplace
Mhm.
and I went over to go get it. And the guy, and I said, "Do you take Venmo?" Because
Yeah.
he said no. He said, "But I take PayPal." And I told him, "Did you know PayPal owns Venmo?" And his face just got white, like, because he did not trust Venmo at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
But he trusted PayPal with a T. So I was like, yeah.
I mean, Venmo was an acquisition.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was acquired. So, I mean, there's probably Venmo has some baggage also from when it's independent days. But, okay. So, anyways, that shapes up the week.
All right. Well, episode 82 in the books. Please comment, give us a like, and let us know if you want to hear anything.
Yeah, let us know where you're investing.
Next week.
Yeah, see ya.